Hello, my name is Mark Frasco. I'm the founder and president of Coact Associates. Thank you for joining me in session 3 of our Business Builder series. This is going to be on market strategy. Real quick, before we get into market strategy, I'd like to review session 2. We talked about the sales continuum and various stages of the sales continuum, the people and processes and the performance system at various stages in this continuum. We talked about the supply side. From the time you issue a proposal, negotiate new orders, get them into your system, do the work, and make money. Again, I'll emphasize the preponderance of your resources are rightly spent on this side of your business. But we know to make up some of the losses that we've had year to year in business and the growth that we want for our organizations, that we need to have similar processes and people in place and a performance system to build demand. So we talked about how we're going to do that. This first piece of the building demand cycle is on strategy. And I'd like to, in this session, talk with you a little bit about market strategy. I'm a really big fan of speed strategy, especially for mid-small market companies. In most business-to-business models, market research rarely produces a strategic epiphany. Get the right people in the room, the right people, your key people, the people who think strategically, are passionate about your business and growing your business. Talk to your clients, talk to some of your key trusting vendors, and ask them and talk with them about some of the things that you need to do strategically to grow your business and what they think the market's looking for. 3 things that we're going to focus on. How do we define our business? The second is what markets have the greatest potential for success? And then third, and maybe most importantly, competitively, how do we stack up? What is our market position? So let's talk a little bit about business definition. When you get these folks in the room and when you have these conversations, try to gain clarity on 4 questions that I believe really help you define your business. The first one is, what do you sell? What is it that you sell? Products, services, and how do you sell it? How do you supply those products and services to the market? Are you selling componentry? Are you selling sub-assemblies, turnkey solutions, maintenance contracts? There are various ways that you go to market. You need to think that through and think about how you're positioning your product and service in the marketplace, what the customer needs, what your competitors are doing. Third question is, who buys? Where do these buyers live? What types of organizations are they in? Geographically, where are they? What size organizations are they? What do they do? So who buys your products and services as you're promoting them? And why do these people buy from you? Why do these buying influences decide to buy from your competitors or buy from you? We want to understand that so that we can begin to drive value through these buying systems and that we can speak to them from their perspective, from their understanding of what they need. The second area that we want to cover is market potential. Again, I think with the right folks in the room, on the y-axis, talk about various market segments and talk about the size of those market segments. And then on the x-axis, market growth. If you were to look back over the last year and look out over the next year or 2, what do we think the growth potential is for these various markets? Is it strong? Is it weak? And then obviously, where we have large size markets, large opportunities, and strong growth, these are strategic opportunities for your organization. Lastly, let's talk about your market position. And let's talk about how you position the organization strategically. So if you take those markets we were just talking about and their potential, low, moderate, high, and now on the x-axis, look at your competitive advantage. What uniquely do you supply that maybe your competition's having a hard time competing? What can you do differently? Can you supply what it is that you're supplying in a way that changes the rules of engagement in the marketplace? If you can build a strong competitive advantage in a high potential market, invest aggressively in the future. Get people and processes in place to make that happen. If you have a weak competitive advantage in a big, high potential market, invest strategically. Try to develop your competencies. Try to position yourself and differentiate yourself more strategically so that you can be successful in the future. And I think just as important as a high growth area is make sure that you're looking at low potential markets and where you're weak competitively, and make sure you're not spending a lot of your resources there. Divest, reassign those resources in areas that you can have a greater impact. So be thinking about getting the right people together, talking about what does this company really do? How do we define our business? What are the potential for the markets that we believe that we can penetrate? And what is our position competitively in those markets? I hope you found this interesting. Our next session will be on designing value, and we'll continue into the building demand continuum. Thanks again.